Greetings all. I'll be good today. So we're now gonna be looking at the US dollar slash Turkish lira. Yeah, so let's get straight into the chart. So in front of me, I've got the monthly chart open, as you guys can see. And one very interesting thing that I see at this point is the fact that we have this huge bearish candle with a small body and a long lower wick. So what this tells us is that we have a whole lot of liquidity sitting at this level. Another thing that is interesting about this monthly chart is the fact that we had a W structure in that region with a neckline somewhere there. However, we are yet to see price revert to the neckline to retest it and possibly push further up. So what I'm going to do right now is actually add a neckline to that structure. Just bear with me. Let's see. Let me actually do it this way. Make it a different color. There we go. There we go. Okay. So there's our neckline in this region. And then I'm also going to add a line to the bottom of that long bearish candle. Just bear with me. Here we go. This is just to mark where the liquidity is on that long bearish candle that I spoke about, right? So the next thing that I'm going to do actually is, since we have in this region a W structure, I'm just going to add the Fibonacci retracement tool just to see if the neckline aligns with any of the key numbers that we have on that particular instrument. So just bear with me, guys. So there goes our fib, and we can see that none of the key numbers actually align with the neckline. So let's proceed. So even above us having this huge candlestick, or rather this huge liquidity candlestick, which has liquidity there, we also have the small one in this region with a liquidity there at that level. It is also a liquidity candlestick, and I'm just going to add a line to it as well, as it is also very much important, and I don't want us to forget about it. Just bear with me, guys. Um, there we go. So let's proceed. So what else do we see on this actual chart that is interesting, significant, or important? At this point, I don't see anything further. So what I'm gonna do is head down to the weekly chart. Let's see. So here we are on the weekly chart. What do we see on the weekly chart? Let's see. Let's see. So on the weekly chart, we had, or rather, we have this candlestick over here. It is also a liquidity candlestick, in the sense that at some point the market needs to come back to that level to grab the liquidity. We also have another one here, which is carrying liquidity where it ends. Let's see. And as we speak, the weekly candle is bearish. However, it has not yet closed, so we can't really regard it as a liquidity candlestick as yet. Nonetheless, let's move forward. We also had an overextended W structure over here with a neckline there. What may happen in the future is that price from where it is may come to this region to retest that neckline of this W structure and then possibly push further up. Having said that, we also need to keep in the back of our minds that we have all of those, or rather this area over here, as well as this one, which are all liquidity areas. And I spoke about the fact that we have in this region a W structure with a neckline there, and that the neckline also needs to be tested in the future. So there is scope actually for price to in the future move further down, either here or here, or even at this point, at this level over there. So um, I'm just going to add a neckline to this overextended W structure so that we don't forget about it. Just bear with me. There we go. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is just add the Fibonacci retracement just to see if the neckline aligns with any of the key numbers that we have on the Fibonacci retracement tool. Just bear with me. Yeah, so we don't really have any numbers that align with that neckline. So let's proceed. I'm just going to delete the tool, the Fibonacci retracement tool. There we go. Is there anything else of importance that we see on this actual chart? I don't see anything further. I'm just gonna head down to the daily chart from here. Okay, so there goes our daily chart of USD Turkish Lira. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do on this actual chart is add the, or rather add my channels. Just bear with me. So here goes my daily channel. I just need to ensure that it is as accurate as can be. There we go. Just bear with me. There we go. So the next thing that I'm going to do after having added my channel is actually look at this area over here. So what do we see on this actual area that is interesting or important? One thing that I see in that area is that we have an M formation in this region with the neckline being somewhere in that region, right? And we can see that price broke the neckline of that M structure. And I usually say that whenever we have M formations, ideally would love to see price break the neckline, then head back to the neckline to retest it, and then push further down. In this case, we, as I said, see that the neckline has been broken. However, we're yet to see price come back to the neckline to retest it. And should price come back to the neckline to retest it, we would be looking for possible selling opportunities. We would be looking for possible selling opportunities at this level. And another thing that is also very important is the fact that we have this candlestick. In fact, actually, before we continue, let me just add a neckline to that structure so that we don't forget about the fact that we have an information there. Just bear with me. So here goes our M structure. I'm also going to mark this candlestick over here. It is a liquidity candlestick as well. Just bear with me. There we go. There's a lot of liquidity sitting here, and the market has to come to this region at some point to grab some of that money, because liquidity means money, right? There we go. So let's proceed. So before we proceed, actually, I'm just going to use the Fibonacci retracement tool just to see if the neckline of this M structure actually aligns with any of the key numbers that we have on the tool. Let's see. Fibonacci. There we go. Let me just make this slightly bigger so you guys can see clearly. There we go. So okay, let me just do this. Okay. So it seems that the neckline really isn't in line with any of the key numbers on the Fibonacci retracement tool. So I'm just going to delete it. Just bear with me. Okay, there we go. Okay. So what else do we see on this chart, which is the daily chart, that is interesting or significant? At this point, I don't see anything further. So what I'm going to do actually is head down to the H4 chart. So here we are on the H4 chart. So what do we see on the H4 chart? On the H4 chart, we can see that currently the market seems to be moving sideways, and there's not really much that is happening in that region. We also have at this level a strong support line, or rather a support area, and we have some liquidity candlesticks as well as this one. So that tells us that the market needs to come down to grab that liquidity at some point, right? So what may actually happen is, remember we have in this region an M formation with a neckline there, and I did say that the neckline has been broken. However, we're yet to see a retest of the neckline. So because the neckline has been broken, price may actually, from where it is, push up to this point to retest the neckline and then push further down to grab the liquidity that's sitting below, right? That's one of the possibilities that we need to keep in mind. So let's see, what else do we see on this chart that is interesting or significant? In fact, before we continue, I'm just going to add a channel to this chart as well. Let's see, how would I add my channel here? Actually, I would add, I think, a triangle. Just bear with me. I would add it in this manner. Let's see. Just bear with me, guys. There we go. And I would add the other side in this manner, more or less. There we go. Right. So what may happen is, because we have this structure, price may break out to the top, come back to retest it, retest this line that is, and then push further up to the neckline, or it may break out to the bottom, go back to retest it, and then possibly push further down to where we have those liquidity candlesticks at the bottom that we spoke about, right? So let's continue. So what else do we see on this chart that is interesting? I don't see anything further really, except that we might have a liquidity area at this point, because we have this candlestick over here, and it is a liquidity candlestick as well. So it may happen that price may come to this point to grab that liquidity, but there's no way of telling whether price has actually taken that liquidity at this point. And that is because what may have happened actually is that this candlestick over here, as you can see, it got close to filling. Let me just zoom that in a bit. It got close to filling this liquidity at this point, right? But there's a chance that the market, when it got to this level, actually opened the spread, and the spread may have taken the liquidity that was sitting somewhere up there. So as much as I say that there could be liquidity here, it may also be happen that, or rather, it may also happen that, or it may have happened that this candlestick may have taken that liquidity already by opening that spread, right? But for now, we can just say that we have liquidity at that point, just to be on the safe side. Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see on this chart? I don't see anything further really. And as I said, guys, what I would wait for is a breakout out of the structure, right? And should price break out to the top, I would wait for it to come and retest this channel over here, and then I would look for possible buying opportunities to this point. This would be my take profit area, and from here I would look for a possible sell entry. Similarly, should a breakout happen to the bottom, I would wait for price to go back to the structure to retest it, and I would look for possible selling opportunities at this point. And my first take profit actually would be um, my first take profit actually would be this area over here where I have, or rather where we have that candle filling that needs to take place. We also need to keep in mind the fact that we have this structure over here. Let me just actually go back to the daily chart. You know, we have we need to keep in mind that we have the structure over here, and what may happen is that price may bounce off here and actually push further up from there, right? But as I said, guys, should it happen that because we have the structure, or actually let me just draw it properly, because we have a structure like this one, right? Should price break out to the bottom, wait for it to retest it, and then push further down. The first take profit, as I said, should be this area over here, and that is because we have a whole lot of liquidity sitting there, and that the market may come to this level and then push further up. Also, just keep in mind that we have um, at the bottom, just bear with me, we have that W structure with a neckline here, and I said that the neckline still needs to be retested, and that's what we may see happen in the future as well. So if price closes below this point, we may be looking for possible selling opportunities to this point again, which is where we would look for possible buying opportunities again, right? So that is it, guys, in as far as the USD TRY analysis is concerned. If you have any further questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching and peace out.